Welcome, one and all, to another Fletch Talks live stream. How are you all doing, you wonderful people? Hope you are all doing well. We're, of course, talking about the big breaking news that has been buzzing around the world of football for the past 24 hours or so, and that is Alexander Isak and Liverpool's pursuit of the Swedish striker. I don't know why I said Spanish. That's my bad. First mistake of the day. Get that out of the way and done with. Swedish striker. Swedish. He's, of course, Swedish. Yes, we're going to be talking about the big breaking news that was buzzing around the world of football yesterday in regards to that. Any other stories and things that may break whilst we're live, or whether you guys want to talk about certain things as well, feel free to get involved. But I hope we're all doing well, people. I hope we are all doing well. As always with these videos and live streams and stuff, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. Both things will always be very greatly appreciated. And of course, like I say, get involved in the chat, whether it's about the stuff that we're talking about or whether it's about stuff that you guys want to talk about, stuff that happens whilst we're live, any of that stuff, your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading in that chat. So get involved. Would love to hear from you all. And without further ado, we're going to get on with the live stream. We're going to get on with talking about the main story that is buzzing around the world of football, and that involves Alexander Isak. This saga, this situation continues to rumble on. And I got to be honest, it's heating up. It is very much heating up, and I cannot wait to see what happens with this, and especially because I'm a Liverpool fan, so I've got a horse in this race as well. I kind of want it to obviously fall in Liverpool's favour. I want us to go and get Alexander Isak, and fingers crossed that will be the case. Sartorius, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, my friend. Welcome along to the stream. I just wanted to say, keep going, man. You've got to start somewhere. Respect, professionalize, and make it big. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for those words. Really do appreciate it, my man. Hope you are doing very well. Where were we? Alexander Isak. So yesterday, well, we'll start at the beginning. We obviously know that Isak's been attracting a lot of interest, none more so than Liverpool. The Liverpool links have been constant, they've been consistent, they've been throughout the entirety of the summer so far. But the story is that Newcastle are very reluctant to sell him on. Then, of course, in recent days, it's broken that Newcastle are in advanced talks with Hugo Ekitike. That has again thrown a lot of question marks at Alexander Isak and where his footballing future may lie. Then yesterday, the big news breaks from Fabrizio Romano. This says that Liverpool have made a club-to-club approach with Newcastle to discuss record bid for Alexander Isak. If Isak won't be available, Liverpool can enter race for Ekitike. Decision up to Newcastle, as they wanted to sell Isak and as they never wanted to sell Isak and offer a new deal instead. So the ball really is in the court of Alexander Isak, isn't it? It's really in the court of Alexander Isak, this situation, as to maybe moving things along for himself if he feels like a move to Liverpool is what he wants. Let's be real. This is proof that Liverpool's interest has always been genuine. This is proof that there was always something going to happen, because throughout the entirety of this situation, I've had to hear from a lot of Newcastle fans that rubbish these reports instantly, that said that this was never going to happen. Liverpool have got no chance in hell. It's not going to happen. I said throughout that this had a chance of happening because Liverpool don't do this. Liverpool don't keep pursuing if they don't have at least an inkling of a feeling, a belief that the target, the man they are targeting, the player that they are targeting, doesn't want to move to Liverpool. If Isak came out and said, "No, not happening. I'm staying at Newcastle. I'm not going to Liverpool," Liverpool would move on. Liverpool would have moved on a long, long time ago. But everybody has been saying that Liverpool's interest is still there. Liverpool are keeping an eye on this potential deal. Liverpool are keeping an eye on Alexander Isak. That is what has been the story throughout the entirety of the summer so far. Every top tier journalist that you guys believe, like the Ornsteins and the Romanos, have never said that this deal is completely off the table. They just said it's unlikely. Every Liverpool journalist who loves to kind of ruin every Liverpool fan's day, who seems to take a big kick out of putting a dampener down on any major transfer story, has not said that this deal is completely off the table. They've just said it's unlikely, which is what I've been saying, and a lot of others have been saying. A lot of people that have been trying to be level-headed about this situation or keep their feet on the ground have always said that, yes, it's unlikely, but it's not impossible. And that's what we've been saying throughout the entirety of this transfer saga. Big up LFC fan who's in the chat. He says, hello, mate. Hello, yourself. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Lovely to have you on board with us this afternoon. Love to know what you think about this Alexander Isak situation as well, my friend. This was never off the table. That's what I've been trying to say to anybody and everybody that will listen. This was never off the table. This was always going to be genuine. There was always going to be something in it. It just depends on what. Now, I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that Isak moves. I'm not saying it's a guarantee whatsoever that Isak moves. Of course, he could stay. There's a slim possibility he could go elsewhere. But it seems like it's either going to be a destination of staying at Newcastle or moving to Liverpool that is on the cards for Isak this summer. As well as this, there is the Hugo Ekitike situation, which seems to go a bit hand in hand in this deal. Liverpool have basically not stated it, but basically outlined a plan. They've gone to Newcastle and they've basically gone, right, we know you want Hugo Ekitike. We want Alexander Isak, but we're also interested in Ekitike as well. So you've got a choice. You can either stick with Isak or we'll go and get Ekitike. I love that from us. I love that from us. It's a big power play move. It's us throwing our weight around. Those are the kind of things that I've been wanting Liverpool to do in this transfer window or any transfer window for so long. We pretend and we say that we're a big club and then we don't go and show it. We don't go and show it in these transfer windows. But this is the situation that I'm so glad we are doing because we are now throwing our weight around. We're tossing like respect or anything like that or being pushovers out of the window that we have been for so long before this. And now Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes and everybody else is basically going, yeah, you know what? We're sick of that approach. If we want it, we're going to take it. And it's going to be probably at this moment in time looking likely that Liverpool are going to sign one of Alexander Isak or Hugo Ekitike. And depending on what Newcastle's approach is, could depend on the outcome of this. If Newcastle aren't going to budge whatsoever, it does seem like Liverpool will switch their attention to Ekitike. But I genuinely think there is a deal here to be made. And I think it rests on Isak. Because if Isak didn't want to go, I think he would have said something by now. I know he wants to be respectful, and I know that he doesn't want to exactly, burn any bridges at Newcastle because that's the club that took a chance on him to make it in the Premier League. So I 100% get his respectful approach, but he's not exactly come out and said, not happening, staying at Newcastle 100%. He's not exactly said that, which means to me that he's open to the move. And Liverpool wouldn't approach if they didn't think that there was a chance of Isak jumping ship to Liverpool. If they thought that this was a dead deal, they would have moved on a long time ago. But now it seems like things could be heading in the right direction for a Liverpool. And I also think for Newcastle as well, I've said this time and time again as well, Ekitike is not a bad alternative to Isak. There are similarities in Ekitike's game that are, like I say, very similar. And, you can draw comparisons and parallels to Alexander Isak. He's just a younger version that's a bit more rough around the edges. It's not a bad alternative. It's also a cheaper deal than what Isak would be. So let's say that Newcastle did get a very handsome fee for Isak. Buying Ekitike with it, as well as maybe one or two other players to make the Newcastle squad a bit more well-rounded, a bit more stronger in terms of depth, I don't think would be the worst decision in the world. I don't think it would be the worst decision in the world for a Newcastle to do that. It just seems like that would help Newcastle so much. And not only that as well, but Ekitike could be guaranteed for the next at least 3, maybe 4 years, depending on how his development goes in terms of his potential and his promise. If Isak stays, you're not guaranteed to keep him for the next 3, 4, 5 years. His contract runs out in 2028, so he's got 3 years left. But who's to say what will happen between now and then with Newcastle, and whether or not Isak's ambitions will match up with what Isak has in mind for the rest of his career. Remember, he's 25, 26. He's entering into the prime of his career right now. Liverpool, with all due respect to Newcastle, are a bigger club, much more attractive, a stronger chance of winning silverware and satisfying those needs for glory. I'm just thinking, even if it isn't a Liverpool, someone else that's bigger or around a similar sort of stature. I'm thinking bigger as in Real Madrid. May come in for him later on down the line. Who knows? I don't know. I feel like this is a bit of a losing battle for Newcastle. One way or another, I do feel like it's a bit of a losing battle, and it's just about trying to get the most out of this situation. I really do think that. Matthew Kennedy's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along, my friend. Hope you are well. He says that Isak is just tagging Liverpool along to buy Newcastle time to get Ekitike. Is it that hard to figure out? Well, no, because if that is genuine, I feel like Liverpool will switch. Liverpool will just switch their attention. As soon as they realise that a fee has been agreed, Liverpool could just go, all right, then, fine, you dragged us along. We get it. We're going to swoop in for Ekitike. And let's face it, personal terms are not going to be an issue. Signing is not going to be an issue. And let's face it, if it was a bit of a tug of war between Newcastle and Liverpool for Ekitike, he's going to pick Liverpool. He's going to pick Liverpool because you can look at it and go, right, well, if I go to Newcastle, I'll be playing behind Alexander Isak. I said yesterday, there's no chance of a positional change for either Isak or Ekitike. Makes no sense. There's no chance that they're going to play them both at the same time in a different formation. It doesn't make sense to change formation just to accommodate for the two of them, especially because they play so similarly. It doesn't make any sense. He's going to be second fiddle to Isak. Now, if he's okay with playing like that, fine, fair enough. But you look at Liverpool and you go, well, they're in need of a striker. They're in need of a starting forward. Ekitike goes to Liverpool, he's guaranteed a start. Ekitike goes to Newcastle and he's playing second fiddle to Alexander Isak. We can offer him a lot more. He may not want to come to Liverpool. That could also be a possibility. But I think he'd be foolish if it was, considering where we are right now and considering the gamble that is Newcastle. I like Newcastle. I've got a soft spot for Newcastle. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just stating what I'm seeing right now, right in front of my eyes. The deal is give us your striker or we will take your top target striker. Newcastle has to decide now. Absolutely, mate. Couldn't agree more. or Newcastle let you think that Isak is interested in coming to Liverpool, so that Newcastle can work out a deal with Ekitike and then have both. I don't think it makes sense for you to have both. It doesn't make sense for Newcastle to have both. Two strikers that play very similarly, and then, of course, you're not going to change either one of them's positions. It just doesn't make sense to. And you're not going to change your formation to play two up top, so it doesn't make sense for them to come in. Ekitike may not exactly be happy playing second fiddle to Isak. I just don't think it makes sense to have both, with all due respect. Isak is coming to Liverpool, just wait. I hope you're right, my friend. I hope you are right. What if Ekitike doesn't want to play for Liverpool? Yeah, that could happen. Maybe he doesn't want to play for Liverpool. But like I said, there are so many things going for Liverpool right now that I'd be questioning the integrity and mentality of an Ekitike if he didn't want to play for Liverpool over a Newcastle. That's just my thoughts on that. But Isak wants to. I hope he does. Really hope he does. Big up Alex is in the chat. Hope you're well, my friend. He says that if Núñez goes and Liverpool sign Ekitike or Isak, would they need a second striker? I believe they would. Even if it is a loan for a season, even if we somehow get a loan and we have other areas to target, I think we do. I think we do need a second striker. I think in light of obviously the tragic Diogo Jota situation, I think we definitely do need a second striker. We could play Chiesa if we have the opportunity maybe of playing Gakpo up front, because we have done that before. It's not exactly his best position, but we have the opportunity. Diaz, if he stays, obviously can play through the middle. Wirtz can play as a false nine. So we've got these players that can fill in, but it's not really anything, long term, I don't think. So I do think we do need a second striker. I think Mateta as a second striker would be good if we did get an Isak or an Ekitike. I think that would be a good second striker to have. But yeah, I am intrigued to see what we do in that position with a second striker, to be fair. Isak once said he would love to play for Liverpool. Yeah, because he's a smart man. He's a very smart man. Big up Luca Talks Dons, who's in the building. Hope you're well, my friend. Go and subscribe to Luca Talks Dons, doing some incredible stuff over on his channel. Very alternative look to his channel these days, but still as entertaining and as fun as ever. So please do go and check out his channel. Matthew says, why have both this year and sell Isak next year? Yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility. Bleed Ekitike into the Premier League by using Isak as your main target. That could also be fair. I don't know whether Ekitike would like to play the waiting game for at least a year, but it could be a possibility. You do throw up a very good point. Do you think you get Isak? I hope so. I really, really hope so. I really, really, really hope we do. I think we obviously do need a striker. We obviously need to retaliate from you guys signing Gyökeres. So we definitely do need a response. And I think Isak is the perfect response. Whether it will happen or not remains to be seen. If I had to maybe put a percentage on it, I'm probably going more 60-40 in Liverpool's favour that we get this deal done. But obviously, it's going to be a difficult deal to get done. And I think a lot does rely on Isak and whether or not he wants to go and whether or not he does anything about it to maybe get out of Newcastle. No chance Hull plays with two strikers. Won't play with two strikers. I agree with you. But there is a possibility that like say, there is a possibility that he comes in as a second striker, the one on the bench, the one to come on with 20 minutes to go and fill in for Isak in certain games. I don't think Nunes will go this season, to be fair. Well, it seems like Napoli have pulled out of the deal. Saudi clubs are still rumoured to be interested, but whether or not they actually go for it or not remains to be seen. We're looking like we're going to regret not selling him in January for that 90 million euros or whatever it was that was offered. We're looking likely we're going to regret that. Big up Jordan, who's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along, my friend. Hope you are well. Go and subscribe to Jordan's channel, everyone. Doing some incredible stuff over there. Watch-alongs, news shows, and the like. Doing some pretty big stuff, some exciting and fun stuff. So I'm sure there's something for everyone. Howie, massive shout out you. I'm not 100% sure, but big up to you, my friend. And like I say, go and subscribe to Luca Talks Dons as well. Lovely stuff from you, my guy. Maybe if we got an Isak, it could be some sort of young development striker for the future, like an old type Edwards signing. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case as well. I'm not 100% sure who that would be off the top of my head, but yeah, it could be someone that we use to kind of fill in for Isak in certain games, in certain situations, and bleed into the side gently, because, you know, there is concern over Isak's fitness, Isak's injury record, and it does need to be managed appropriately and properly. So I wouldn't be, like I said, I wouldn't be completely against that. And that's why when the Mateta news came out a few days ago, I'm not completely against Mateta being our second striker. Our main striker, that's where I have a problem. Our second striker, not so much. For a year or two, it could work. But we'll see. BIG's in the building. How you doing, my bro? Hope you are well. He says that all Newcastle United fans chirp up about how they have the best midfield in the league. Why would they break it up to play two strikers, forcing Gordon and 55 million Elanga out of position to wide midfielders? Makes no sense. I couldn't agree more. That midfield three of Tonali, Guimarães, and Joelinton, it works very, very well. I don't understand why you would break that up. I don't understand why you'd break that up. You wouldn't then move Ekitike or Isak to a left wing position, because it makes no sense, especially when you've got two very good left wingers as it is in Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon. You then have your new £55 million striker signing on the right-hand side in Anthony Elanga, backed up by Jacob Murphy, who had a very fine season this past year. It makes no sense to go two up top. It really, really doesn't. So I 100% agree with you there, my friend. This is what I was calling for: a Premier League experienced player. Give us Isak. I'll be happy for this deal. I'm in the hospital. When I'm out, I'll do some more live streams. Let's get Isak. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I didn't realize you were in the hospital. I hope you're okay, my bro. I hope you are genuinely okay. And big up to you, my guy. I hope you are doing well. But yeah, 100%. Premier League proven is the way to go forward. Hey, here's an idea. I'd be happy with Liverpool getting Ekitike and we get Mateta as a backup. I think for you, yeah, that's fine. I mean, the more and more that I think about it, the more and more that I'm okay and I'm getting on board with maybe Ekitike coming to Liverpool, especially if maybe there could be enough money left over for, say, a Rodrigo and Ekitike, or just an Isak. Is very much up in the air. But yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't gone in for Mateta, to be fair. At least not right now anyway, or nothing too serious about it. But yeah, I mean, Newcastle, we definitely know are going to be going in for for a striker, regardless of what happens with this situation. So we wait and see what happens, man. But like I say, it's a situation where I'm looking at it and I'm going, Isak is open to the move. He is open to it. Newcastle are reluctant to sell, but that doesn't mean that that's done and dusted. Reluctant to sell basically means you don't want to, but you could be tempted. For example, the amount of times that I've said in the past, I'm not going out tonight. I'm very reluctant to going out tonight. Don't want to go out and get drunk. And then I've gone out and got drunk because I've had my arm twisted. A number of times. Again, similar situation. Liverpool, we're reluctant to sell Luis Diaz, but you know what? If Bayern just bumped up that price a little bit more, I reckon we'd be tempted to go, you know what? Bid accepted. Diaz, you're on your way to Germany, mate. So, reluctant to sell doesn't mean the deal is completely off the table. Did you know that Isak has opened doors for Liverpool? I don't exactly know what that entirely means, but yeah. I mean, like I say, he's not exactly said that he doesn't want to go. He hasn't exactly said that he wants to stay completely in Newcastle. So, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as what Liverpool are concerned, that means there is a chance. What's that Dumb and Dumber line? So you're saying there's a chance? If we get Isak, do you think we'll get a centre-back? We have to. We absolutely have to. I don't trust the Konate situation completely. And I don't trust the way that obviously his injury issues are as well. I don't obviously trust Joe Gomez. So we definitely do need to get a reliable centre-back. So fingers crossed we can. And obviously fingers crossed that man is going to be Gahey of Crystal Palace. He wants to sit on the bench. That idea is unfathomable at best, considering Frankfurt have UCL, especially for an €86 million player. Newcastle are currently advancing on Ekitike. Maybe the play is manifesting. This is what I said in my video yesterday, bro. I said in my video yesterday, you don't sign an €100 million, €85 million, whatever it is, player to sit on the bench. You just don't do it. That is what I'm trying to get my head around. Like, I just don't think you do that. I don't think there is any team out there that would, unless like you've got money to burn, unless you've got money to absolutely burn. I just don't think you splash the cash this much on a player that is going to be on the bench for, at the very least, 1 year. I just don't think you do it. When has he said that he wants to play for Liverpool? I never said that. I never said he wanted to play for Liverpool. All I said is that he's never come out and said that he's going to stay at Newcastle. He's never once said that he's not going to move anywhere else. I never said he was going to play for Liverpool. I just said he's never said that he's staying at Newcastle. So I don't know what you mean by that, bro. Just get Dyche to manage Newcastle, and then they can play a no nonsense 4-4-2. Big up Sean Dyche, man. Big up Sean Dyche. I wonder where he's going to end up. I love that Werder Bremen kit. Thanks, man. I like it too, man. I got it in a mystery kit box. So, yeah, it was very good. Hope you're well, by the way, Alf. Hope you're well, by the way. Long time no see, my friend. No, the chat said it. Oh, I don't. What did the chat say? Oh, yeah, there. I mean, there might have been something in that. I don't exactly know for sure. Sorry, I just read something from Caught Offside that basically said that Man United are attempting to maybe hijack the Hugo Ekitike situation. To be fair, I think if it's between Newcastle and, well, if it's between Liverpool and Man United, I think he picks Liverpool right now. Newcastle and Man United, it's a bit of a 50-50. Bit of a 50-50. Bills are claiming that Liverpool are toying with the idea of attempting to sign both Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike, which could cost in the region of 200 million. That is from the German outlet known as Bild. I mean, if we got both, that would be insane. That would be insane if we got both. It won't happen. It will never happen. It's one or the other. It's 100% one or the other. Like from my opinion, like I would say it's 100% one or the other. But Builder claiming that we could go for both, and we do need two strikers. We definitely do need two strikers, but I don't think it will be that. If you pay big for Isak, then Newcastle will never sell Livramento to us. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, look at what Crystal Palace are doing right now. Crystal Palace are probably on the verge of losing Eze, Gahey, and potentially Adam Wharton. So they are probably selling big. Brighton have lost many key players in the past for big money in the same transfer windows. So it's not necessarily out the realms of possibility that you might not get Livramento. I would probably say, though, that fullback probably for you isn't exactly your biggest priority. I probably would say that. So you can probably get away with like a stopgap signing or two and maybe get Livramento for maybe a cheaper price in like a year or two's time. So, you know, I don't think it's a big loss for your lot, but we shall see. Who invited exactly? Who invited United? I don't know, but that's just what I'm just reporting. I'm just regurgitating what they said in certain reports that Newcastle and Man United and Liverpool are seemingly battling it out for Hugo Ekitike. Like I say, I think the priority list may be Liverpool at the top, and then followed by United, Man United, that is, and then Newcastle, or vice versa. Who knows? Who knows? I think it's dependent right now on who you are. Crystal Palace doesn't have the ambition to win trophies every year, though. True, very true. But at the same time, like, not every team is like that. Not every team is like that. So, you know, we shall see. Liverpool would have to hurry up. Newcastle have put a second bid in, and Ekitike's representatives are in Austria talking, and the Newcastle United training camp. All we need to do is let you do the groundwork, and then if we wanted to, we'll just put in a bid of the same price. It's all we need to do. Like, it's happened before with certain players. That's all we need to do. Like I say, personal terms are going to be no issue. We just need you to do the groundwork and then us to go, yeah, you see that price? We'll put in either a similar price or we'd like bump it up another couple of million or whatever. And then chances are is that they'd accept it. And then we go from there. Alternatively, again, it could be a way of Newcastle going, nah, not for sale. But then as soon as they get in the Isak replacement, that's when they go, right, well, now we're kind of open more to letting Isak go. So, again, it could happen. It very well could happen. How much would you be willing to pay for Isak? Well, the base price is seemingly 120 million. That is seemingly what we are in and around at right now. Whether or not that will actually be the case or not, it is another story. Could be higher. But that seems to be the base, 120 million, which would be obviously a record. It would break the record that we had for Wirtz earlier on in the summer. So we shall see. Or we have both and you're stuck with Nunez. That is the worst case scenario. Well, no, actually, the worst case scenario is that we go and get Benjamin Sesko instead, which if we do that, I'll have to cry a lot. Because I don't want that to happen. So the worst case scenario is actually that we go and get Benjamin Sesko instead, who I think would actually be very good for Newcastle. But there's no way you're getting both. I don't think there's a way in which if you do get both, then fair play to you. You get both. I think it's mad on either of them's part to not force a move out for Isak, or B, actually go to Newcastle in general for Ekitike. But at the same time, if you do get both, fair play. But yeah, if we get stuck with Nunez and Sesko, that's not good. That's not good. Since Palace are in the Conference League, they do not have a real chance of winning, so they may have some ambition on that side. All I'll say to that, bro, is look at who got into the Europa League final this season. Who got into the Europa League final this season? Man United and Tottenham. Palace have a very good chance of winning the Europa Conference League if that is the case. Big up Geordie is in the building. Hope you're well. He says that we don't have to decide anything. I think you might have to. If Liverpool are genuinely serious about the potential of hijacking this Ekitike situation, you may have to decide. You may have to decide whether or not you're going to be keeping Isak for another year or two at most. Or whether you're planning on maybe bringing in the new version of Alexander Isak that will see him stay there for at least 3, maybe 4 years, depending on his development and potential. I think there is a bit more to this story that maybe certain Newcastle fans are not exactly taking into account. We get both. We already have one. Dude, we're in the driving seat. Yeah, you've already got one. But it's like I've been saying this entire stream. Like, Ekitike doesn't want to play second fiddle to Isak. He's not going to be signing for 85 million euros or whatever it is to play second fiddle to Isak. And Isak may want to go and win trophies. And there's no guarantee of that happening with Newcastle. Now, there's no guarantee of it happening anywhere. But there's a stronger chance of it happening with a Liverpool than there is a Newcastle, with all due respect. That's what I said. I meant they have a real chance of winning. Yeah. I didn't get it, but I agree with you. Brian is in the building. Hope you're well, my friend. He says, and you were told to get lost. Yeah, because we know that you've been reluctant to sell. But as I said earlier on in the stream, my friend, Liverpool would have gone away by now. Liverpool would have, in your words, got lost if we didn't have any sort of belief that Isak wasn't open to a move. If we had this belief and idea that Isak was 100% committed to Newcastle and there was no way we were going to tempt him out of Newcastle, we wouldn't have gone to your club to ask about his availability. we wouldn't have dropped it to David Ornstein, of all people, that we had actually approached Newcastle. So there is something to it. We genuinely believe there is a potential situation and scenario in which Isak is open to the move of Newcastle to Liverpool. Otherwise, we'd be going after Hugo Ekitike right now. Hugo isn't going to go to Liverpool and sit on the bench. He's not going to sit on the bench. He walks into the starting lineup. What are you on about? Ekitike walks into the starting lineup. What's his competition? The 4 best teams in the Europa League are now in the UCL by default to make up the larger format. The 8 teams dropping down don't happen. So the 12 best Europa teams aren't there anymore. I don't know. Has that hindered the competition? Maybe. I don't know. I've never found it. I never found it to be good anyway. That you had a second chance of falling into the the lower competition, but to each their own. Some with the Conference League, these competitions are woeful now. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't agree. They're for the teams that don't get into the Champions League to give them something, and of course for UEFA to get more money. So. Everyone's a winner, right? If you stump up 150 million right now, then it would be thought of as, I mean, we have the money for it. Clearly have the money for it. Of course, it wasn't. That's how you get players you want by approaching. Yes, but you don't do club to club. You approach the player's agent and you go, we're interested. How much is it going to take? That's why teams agree personal terms first. So we clearly have an idea that personal terms are going to be okay. We have an idea that he might be open to a move. Because again, if Isak turned around and said, I don't want to go, not going. I am staying here at Newcastle. I am 100% committed to this project of Newcastle. We'd have simply gone, fine, fair enough. We respect your decision. We're going to move on elsewhere. Because that's what Liverpool do. That is what Liverpool do. That's why when you guys mock us for missing out on Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, any of the other names that you can think of. That's why when you guys mock us for missing that, it's simply the reason that we've gone, you've rejected us. Okay, we're going to move on. We haven't been rejected just yet. And we may do. We may do. But for right here and right now, we're either seemingly going to be taking your number 1 talisman, or we're taking your number 1 target. Power move. Power move. Hence why you got Alanga. Okay, good for you. You got Alanga. So what? Like I say, I think it's an okay move. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but decent move. At least for Alanga. Probably getting paid a lot more than what he was at Forest. Liverpool went to Newcastle to underhandedly try and get Isak to force a move. Poor form. Everybody does that. Everybody tries that. You're going to do it. Newcastle do it. So what's the big idea? What's the big idea when it's... Is it just because it's Newcastle? I don't understand. Like, I love Newcastle, right? Newcastle are great. Newcastle, fantastic team, fantastic club, fantastic history. Got a soft spot for Newcastle. Really like Newcastle. But certain fans are so sensitive, especially when it comes to like approaching their players. With no Premier League experience, I don't think he does that. What are you on about? I don't know what you mean by that one. If I just forgot what I said or something, I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You'll have to remind me. I mean, Isak is 26 years old in September, so he should want a team that is Champions League title contenders side in his prime. Like I said, man, trophies. If he wants trophies, he's gonna have to come up. Why do you sound so upset? I'm not upset. It's just laughable the way that certain Newcastle fans are going on about this. Like there is absolutely zero chance of this happening, when we know that Liverpool wouldn't have approached Newcastle if there was 0% chance of this happening. It's just baffling to me. They got Ballum who's in the building. How you doing, my bro? Lovely to have you along with us. Your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to you for tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, man. I'm excited for you, man. So big up to you, my bro. Thank you for being here with us. Darwin is for sale. Napoli won't sign him, it seems. There you go, Newcastle. Sign Darwin Núñez. You should know him. He scored 2 against you when we were down to 10 men to win the game. Go and sign him. Give us the money that you would have gave Ekitike. We'll be happy with that. I'm pretty sure not for sale is rejected. No, not for sale is not necessarily rejected. Because not for sale by the club often turns out to be we're reluctant to sell him, but then eventually you sell him. Give you a prime example. When we sold Philip Coutinho, we told Barcelona he's not for sale. Several days later, we sold him for a huge amount of money. Not for sale doesn't mean rejected. Not for sale basically means we prefer to keep him, but everybody has their price. But I'll let you think that. Okay, crazy dude. Whatever you say. Well done. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that's supported the channel. Thank you to everyone that's supported me. Really do appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough for this. Like 850 more than I ever anticipated or expected to have. So yeah, I really do appreciate every single one of you for following the journey that we're on and for liking, subscribing, and getting involved and doing all of that good stuff. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. So thank you, and thank you even more. Xavi Simons, for example, no one wants to go Newcastle United, it seems, because how cold Newcastle is. Location. No, not really. Look, that's a bit harsh to say. I know it's a bit of banter there, but they're on the way up. Let's say that they're on the way up, and it's going to take a little bit of time because of all these PSR nonsense and all of that ridiculousness that I've said time and time again needs to be changed and adapted. But I wouldn't say no one wants to go to Newcastle. There are just certain players that don't. It's it is what it is. Marcus Rashford is linked to Liverpool today. Could Newcastle sign him? I'd want him to go anywhere else other than Liverpool, to be honest. He's proven he can't really handle pressure. Don't really want him at my club. Go anywhere else. You're free to go wherever. Do a Newcastle accent. I would, but my lawyers have advised me against it. Nottingham Forest, when you trigger to release clause, they put the contract that specifically exists to take themselves out negotiations. Yeah, Nottingham Forest are a weird basket case, man. The owner is insane. The only thing that I agree with the owner is that he's banned Gary Neville for life at the City Ground. And I think that is something that we should all do. I feel like as every football club, apart from obviously United, unless United don't like him that much anymore, I feel like we should all as one, all as a collective, ban Gary Neville from all of our grounds in the future. I feel like that should be something that we all follow suit with. Nobody's sensitive, we're just stating our point. I'm not saying you especially. I'm just saying that there are certain Newcastle fans that in this entire situation have basically mocked, laughed, and ridiculed the idea that there is any possibility of Isak leaving Newcastle. Now, of course, like I say, there could be a possibility where he stays at Newcastle, and if he does, fine, fair enough. But to say that it was completely impossible and that there was 0% chance of him leaving after this situation has just broke, after the news that broke yesterday from the likes of Romano, which was then jumped on by Ornstein and the like, there is a possibility. Whether you want to admit it or not, there's a possibility. Nobody has said 0 chance. Most of us have said not this window. Fine, but that I'm not saying you. Then I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about certain other Newcastle fans that have been a bit tetchy on this subject. For 70 million, rather my dead nan up top, fella. You'd probably get more goals. If you're talking about Darwin Núñez, you'd probably get more goals out of her than you would him. I agree. It is pretty cold up here, to be fair, in Newcastle. Yeah, I can imagine being so far up north. I think one of them will, but theoretically, if Ekitike and Isak didn't go through, who would you have in striker? If we've definitely... Well, this is the problem we've got now. We've sort of shown our hand a little bit because we've now shown the world that we have 120 million to spend, at least. So it now means that anywhere else we go, they know the kind of money we've got. That's the only downside to this situation for Liverpool, is that we've now shown our hand a little bit. But you know what? 120 million. Let's go back to Atletico and try again with Alvarez. Let's go back there and try again with that. In a dream world, that would be amazing. Alvarez would be incredible. I'm not 100% sure whether that would be the case or not, but that would be the dream one. I don't know. Going forward, who knows? Make sure to hit the like button, guys, if you're in the building. Subscribe if you're new as well. Would love that from each and every single one of you. Would be greatly appreciated. It really does mean a lot to me, guys. So thank you. And obviously get involved in the chat as well. Anything that you want to talk about, whether it is about the Alexander Isak to Liverpool situation or whether it's anything that you guys want to talk about as well, let me know in the chat. But lovely to have you on board with us today on this live stream, which has been going for just under an hour right now. Appreciate each and every single one of you being here. Xavi Simons to Newcastle would be good. I heard he say no. He must find Newcastle being too cold. I don't know. Simons is a bit... I don't know with Simons, really. And I don't know what to make of him. I've seen some games where he looks good. I've seen some games where he looks overrated. I don't know what to make of Simons, to be honest. Have to go, Fletch. Take care of yourself, my bro. Hope you have a good birthday tomorrow. My friend. Take care of yourself, and I hope you are all well and good. Apparently, just follow up from your story though earlier, Ballum. Apparently, the Daily Mail have reported that Liverpool have discussed the possibility of making a move for Marcus Rashford. However, nothing has advanced beyond internal talks. Right, I'll believe that when I see it. Oh, that would be that. Could you imagine if that was the case? Oh, that would be crazy. It would symbolize that Diaz has gone. I think that would symbolize that Diaz has gone. But I don't know, man. If we got the Marcus Rashford that we know is there when we first came onto the scene and everything, maybe that could be a good signing, but I'm not 100% sure. Take care, Ballum. Take care, my bro. Newcastle will get Ekitike and keep Isak. It's that simple. Big up to yourself. Hope you are well. Welcome along to the live stream. Look, it could be a possibility. I think it's unlikely, personally. That's just my opinion. But there is a potential world in which that is the case. I think it would be weird for both Ekitike and Isak's part if that was the case. But we shall see. Big up CJ Callum. CJK Callum, hope you are well, my friend. Welcome along. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but well, thank you for joining us on this very warm Thursday afternoon. Wouldn't Newcastle like Isak going for such a big price, though? They get a mini rebuild for that and at least and sort all the PSR issues. This is what I've been saying, like, a short-term sacrifice could really help and benefit Newcastle in the long term. They get a lot of money from the Isak sale that they can put into being a much more well-rounded and not necessarily much more well-rounded in certain situations, but stronger in depth. The one area I think Newcastle struggle in is depth. And I feel like a lot of money plus, PSR being healed a little bit could go a long way. So I 100% agree with you, my friend. Newcastle United tried to sign Ekitike 3 years ago. He chose PSG. Liverpool are only going for him now because he's second choice. How will that sit well with him, do you think? I mean, I did hear that. I did hear that you did go for him several years ago. And it's not the first time you've been rejected, not only just in this window, but in other windows as well for Newcastle. No. I don't think it will necessarily matter to him. Depending on his choice of options, I don't necessarily think it will mind too much, especially when you consider that if you are planning on keeping Isak, and there's very little chance that you're going to accommodate both strikers in the starting 11, he's going to be second choice anyway. So I could flip that around and go, well, how is he going to feel being second choice to Isak? He's second choice to Isak in both situations. So it doesn't necessarily matter, I don't think. The only difference is that we'll be paying 85 million euros, give or take, for a starting 11 striker. You'll be paying 85 million euros for a second striker. That's the difference. Mateta is who we should go for no matter what. Get him as a possible backup and starter. If we don't secure Isak or Ekitike, I think he's a good win now option until we can find something long term. Second striker, I agree with you. First striker, I'm not there. I'm not there with you on that one, I'm afraid. I would be happy to see Mateta as a second striker. I think as a short-term thing, that would be okay, but not as our main striker for the season. I just don't see it. I don't see it personally. I sub. Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate it, my guy. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see a lot more of you in the videos and in the live streams, giving your thoughts, comments, opinions, and predictions, and all of that kind of good stuff. So I really do appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. Did miss that much. How emotional and profound do you think the first match will be at Anfield in relation to Diogo Jota? I mean, it was emotional on Sunday in the game against Preston, wasn't it? Very, very emotional then. So I imagine it's going to be even more emotional when the first game comes around. And I think it's going to be even more emotional later on in the season, maybe when we take on Wolves around about Christmas time, I think it is. I think that's going to be an emotional game as well, given obviously the history of both clubs and obviously Jota playing for both. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very emotional, and obviously it's still a tragic situation. I still can't believe it, it's a completely bizarre situation. Yeah, it's going to be very emotional, to say the least. Rashford, well, it would piss off the United fans. That's why I kind of want it to happen. I kind of want it to happen purely based on that. I kind of want it just off that alone. I've been mint. We can get 20 goals from Isak. I think you're going a bit low there, bro. I reckon 25 to anything between 25 and 30. anything between 25 and 30, I think, for Isak in our squad. Think about the creativity that we have is insane. Kirkes, Frimpong, McAllister, Soboslai, Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo from time to time, Diaz if he's going to stay from time to time. The creativity is insane. The only thing we're lacking is someone to just put the ball into the back of the net over and over and over and over again. Isak is the perfect fit for this jigsaw. Is it true Newcastle is not allowed to spend money? I mean, they've spent like 120, or they're going to spend 120, something like that in this transfer window so far. Elanga, James Trafford, the other guy I can't remember the name of. I can't remember what other signing you're potentially making. I can't remember. Why does it escape my mind? They're all allowed to spend money though. That's like their Champions League money. Their Champions League money's been spent. Big up Toonami. Hope you're doing well, my friend. He says he isn't for sale. Liverpool have already been told that. Get over yourselves. Yeah, we've been told that. So why have we gone back in for him? We obviously know that your stance hasn't changed before yesterday, and yet we've still gone, hey, Newcastle, hope you're all right. We want Isak, or we're going to take Ekitike. Your choice. You think about it. Ball's in your court. We'll move on. Just because Newcastle say he's not for sale, as I said before, doesn't mean he's not for sale. Everybody has their price. And when you say you're reluctant, that doesn't mean the door is completely shut there. I'm just saying. Rashford is a third striker at best. We should go for Isak or Alvarez and get a good centre-back in case things with Konate go south. I agree with you. I just think the only thing I will say about that is that Rashford would probably be left winger. I don't like Rashford being up front. If let's say that this thing is definitely going to happen and Rashford will come to Liverpool, which I never thought in a million years I would ever say. He would go left. He would be left winger. He would be left winger. Here's a wild scenario. We get Ekitike this window and Isak leaves to replace Lewandowski at Barcelona. Still for big money, makes sense. It's not a bad idea. I mean, I know there were previous links with Barcelona going for an Isak, but I think the financial situation's a bit messed up with Barcelona right now, and I think they can only really register like one player at a time. The only thing with that is Barcelona gonna wait? Is the financial situation at Barcelona gonna clear up? There are a few questions on the Barcelona side of things, and I'm sure that he would want to go. I've got no doubt that he would want to go to Barcelona. It's just whether or not Barcelona's end can obviously clear some things up that would allow him to obviously join. Rashford would be a downgrade on Núñez. I think the Daily Mail is smoking something. Oh, that's big. If you're saying it's a downgrade on Núñez, that's big. Big up, Marco. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Welcome along to the conversation. Class Bremen shirt. Thanks, man. Giving Thornston Frings vibes. It's class. I like it, man. I really do like it. Need to get another mystery box kit. They're very, very good. Scalvani. That was probably the name. I was thinking of. Damn. So, yeah, they have money. They have money to buy. Everybody does. It's just some take a little bit longer to buy than others. Man United, for example. Taking a long time to make these signings that they were supposedly going to be making. Everything is for sale. Exactly. Everyone is for sale. Exactly. No one is immune to a sale. He's not for sale yet. Newcastle have put a price on him. This is what I'm saying. And as a Liverpool fan, bro, you should know as well that Liverpool have done the same thing. Liverpool did the same thing with Coutinho. I believe we did the same thing with Raheem Sterling. We've done the same thing this season with Luis Diaz. He's not for sale, but you know what? We already know that Bayern Munich have got 100 million euros just tucked away somewhere that they were going to pay on Wirtz, that obviously they didn't do. So we're just asking for you to just bump up the price a little bit, and then we'll be open to selling him, because that's how business works. Just saying. Man United and Rashford deserve each other. He might stay. I don't think there's any chance of that. And if he does stay, he's going to rot in the reserves. He's going to rot in the reserves. And if you're Rashford as well, you need to get out of there. It's a World Cup year. It's a World Cup year. Rashford needs to get out of there if he wants any chance or possibility of getting into the the England squad. Why did I forget that? England squad. Random question, but how many goals and assists do you think Wirtz will get? I reckon at least 20 in all competitions. I reckon at least 20 in all competitions. You know what I think with Wirtz, right? I think Wirtz may suffer a little bit because I reckon like he might be the guy to get like the pre-assist, if that makes sense. I reckon like he's going to get a few goals. He's going to get a lot of assists. With the squad that we have, he's going to get a lot of assists, right? But I reckon he may suffer a little bit because I reckon he's going to be the guy to make the pass before the assist. So I reckon he's going to split open defenses, release like a Salah, for example, or release like whoever we've got on the left-hand side. Let's say argument's sake Gakpo. And then Gakpo cuts it back for the whoever's going to start as a striker and score. I reckon he could get a lot of pre-assists rather than actual assists. And I think that will go a little bit under the radar. But I'm still backing him. First season, I think he's going to get anywhere between 20 and 30 in all competitions. He's just very, very good. And I can't wait to see him in a competitive match. Lucho Magic, how you doing, bro? Hope you are well. Welcome along. I don't think I've seen you before. I could be wrong. I'm very bad with pronouncing names as well as remembering names. So if you have been here before, but I do apologize. Hey mate, who do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, bro. I'm a Liverpool fan. I know I'm wearing a Werder Bremen shirt, but I'm a Liverpool fan. I just like wearing shirts of other clubs. As long as they're not an English club, that's my one rule. I will never wear another shirt of an English club unless it's like I've lost a bet or for charity. That's the only two ways out of wearing a fellow English team shirt. Otherwise, I will gladly wear other kits of other clubs from across the world. I'm growing a collection. I really want to grow my collection more. And when did you start the channel? I think the channel basically says it was started about 10 years ago, but I've only really started updating it regularly for the past year and a half to 2 years, I think. That's where I've basically been doing it for I'd say the past 18 to 24 months, I'd say is where I've been doing it constantly. So trying to upload something every day, that kind of thing, taking it a bit more seriously. So the grind up has been a bit slower than I would have liked, but that's because it's me. That's because it was my fault and I didn't really know what I was doing or what I wanted to do with it. So I kind of flopped a little bit for several years, and then for the past couple of years I've kind of been doing it a bit more consistently, shall we say. United moving like Leicester in a transfer window, their situation only gets better for us. Fingers crossed it gets that way. Like I like Ruben Amorim. Like I did like him when he was at Sporting, and I do think there is something with him at United, assuming they give him what he needs, and of course assuming that they give him the time and patience. But at the same time, I also hope it crashes and burns because I don't like United. Simple as that. It's my dream to start a YouTube channel to do it full time, but I'm really shy and scared to show my face. Bro, do it. Honestly, do it. Obviously, if you, I don't know how old you are, my friend. So I don't know what your kind of situation is like in terms of work or money or living arrangements and stuff like that. But do it. Anyone that says like I want to do something, I always say to them, do it, because if you have fun doing it, then you're already winning, right? If it leads to somewhere, that makes it even better. And if you don't do it, you might be sat there in a few years' time down the line going, I really wish I'd have took the gamble. I really wish that I'd pulled the trigger on doing something like that, because you never know. It might turn out to be to be something. It might not, but if you enjoy doing it, you're going to have fun anyway, and it just turns into a bit of a hobby. If it turns into something that may turn into something bigger, fair play to you. But I encourage you to do it, my friend. Really, go ahead and do it. And like I say, you'll only get better with experience. So I really do mean that. So I say go for it. I say go for it. No, I'm new to the channel. You were on the homepage. Oh, I've made it to the homepage. Wicked. I'll make sure to tell that. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate you being here and for doing that. Like I say, I encourage you to go for it, man. I encourage you to go for it. Like I say, just keep your feet on the ground, keep level-headed, be modest about it, and be realistic about it. And like I say, it could turn into something big, like with this channel, for example. Like, if this turned into something bigger than what it actually is, then that is amazing. If not, I'm having fun doing it. I have fun talking to you guys. I have fun talking football to whoever, anyone. Like, I just enjoy talking football. So that's my main motivation behind it. It would be lovely if I could turn it into some sort of monetary gain from this. But if that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. But we shall see. Why do you think Romano stays so well informed and relevant? Got all the owners on speed dial. Bro, he must have like 20 different phones. He must have 20 different phones, and he must have like 20 different chargers, because that guy must have contacts beyond contacts beyond contacts. There's no either that, or he's just sat with it plugged into the charger all day, just on the sofa, plugged in. Just right now, I've got to call the Man United guys. Now I've got to call the Liverpool guys. Now I've got to call the Real Madrid guys. Just that guy is insane, and he never seems to sleep as well. I want to know, how do you run off 0 hours sleep? I want to know. Although I do love sleep, but I could get more done if I didn't. I can see Wirtz performing in the Champions League more next season, because it may take a couple of months for him to adjust to the style of the Premier League. I mean, yeah, there is the possibility of that. That's why we have the likes of Szoboszlai and McAllister to help him bed in. So, yeah, that could be a possibility. But he's already proven, like you say, on a Champions League stage. So I do agree with you there. Do you know the content creator Leo's goals? I don't, I'm afraid. I might have to check him out, though, if you recommend him that highly. I was just watching a vid of his, and this got suggested. Fair enough. I don't think I know Leo's goals. I'll have to check it out after this. Big up Dino. Hope you're well, my friend. Welcome along to the stream. Toon, Black and White Army. So who do you support then? No, I'm joking. You're trying to tell me you don't... What are you on about? Honestly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nah, I do like this shirt though. It's cool. Mad. You mean Torsten, right? Not Thorsten. I was going to say, like, the name didn't make any sense to me. No wonder. I was like, what? That's why I'm looking at it like, what are you on about? Whatever. We both messed up. We both messed up. What's your goal with the channel for this year? Hopefully to hit 1K. If I can hit 1K by the end of the year, then that would be outstanding. And, you know, I'm only 150 away from doing that. So fingers crossed that does happen. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of grind. And I don't always have the best of schedules. It's sort of a bit all over the place right now. But hopefully, yeah, I can keep it going. And fingers crossed it will. We'll get there. If not, though, it's okay. It's fine. We'll just have to shift goals for the next year and the year after that. I'm dumbfounded you don't have 350k subs. If I was a bit more consistent with my uploads, I wouldn't have that many, but I would have a bit more. I'd be a bit more further along. Like I say, the main problem is my kind of schedule right now. My kind of schedule is a bit all over the place and a bit sporadic. So some days I'll be live streaming. Some days I won't. Some days I'll have a video. Some days I won't. Some days I put out a short video. Some days I won't. It's a bit all over the place. I try and do something on the daily. I try and at least do one thing on the daily. But it's not always possible. But hopefully going forward, it will get better. How would you rate your top 3 Liverpool content creators? I like Don Hassam. I watch him a lot. I rate him highly. I used to like Redmen TV. I'll occasionally tune into their content, but not as much as I used to. I'll put it that way. I don't know, to be fair. I don't really know, like, who do I really listen to that's Liverpool content creator? I don't know. I don't really have like other than Don Hassam, like, I don't really have like a personal favorite. I kind of listen to a sporadic bunch whenever I can. I wouldn't really say I've got a main 3. I won't really say I got a main 3, but Don Hassam's good. I do rate him. I do rate him a lot. I really like Leo's goals, George Skype, and the Anfield rap. The Anfield rap's pretty good. Coppish as well was okay. They do some good stuff. We are doing it, Fletch. We are doing it. Big up, Ozan. Hope you're well, my friend. I really hope you're right, my friend. I really, really hope you're right. And I really hope that this does pull off, because imagine the transfer window so far. If you want to include Mamardashvili, let's go for it. Mamardashvili, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, and then the possibility of like a Mark Gahey, maybe a left winger, and maybe a second striker. 8 transfers. Maybe more if you want to include the third choice goalkeeper we brought in and whoever. But yeah, it's been a madness so far. It's been an absolute madness so far. Yes, he played centre back. Have I not seen you on American Scouser before, or is it Leo's goal stream? Oh, you told yourself. Sorry, I'm moving in on your conversation. I do apologise. No, that shirt reminds me of pre-Real Madrid, pre-Arsenal. Arsenal. Mesut Ozil. I don't know. It's all good, man. It's all good. Just thank you, mate. I really do appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it from you, and good talking to you as well, my friend. Like I say, go and do it. Go and do it. Like, you never know until you do it. So just go for it. Enjoy it. Have fun doing it. And as long as you're having fun doing it, you're already winning, my friend. You're already winning. So good luck to you, my bro, whatever you decide to do. Luca Talks Dons is back with us. How you doing, bro? Hope you're good. I've been on the stream with Tim Urs and I'm moving in your conversation. I've got to read these before I start. Isak, Frimpong, Wirtz, Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Kirkes, Trent, and Konate can go to Madrid, but I know where I'd be staying if I was Konate. We were promised a big summer. And not just us that were promised a big summer, but the likes of Salah and Van Dijk were promised big summers as well to obviously stay at the club and obviously sign new deals. And they've delivered so far. They have really delivered so far. There's just one area of the team that needs to be addressed as a top priority, and we're seemingly taking steps to sort that out. After that, it's about beefing up the squad. So centre-back needs beefing up. Left wing, if Diaz does go, needs beefing up. Although, what I will say about the left wing situation, I know he's only like 16, 17 years of age. But I swear to God, Rio Ngamoa, I want to see more of. I want to see more of this kid. I just have images and visions of him tearing up anyone who crosses paths with him. I want to see more of that kid. How many Euro points did Chelsea score by winning the Club World Cup? It was a good achievement. I think the funniest part about it was just Donald Trump being there, though, during the entire celebration. That's going to be like put into that's there for all eternity now. I thought that was the funniest bit. I think for PSG, I think it was a bit of a reality check. They realised that they maybe couldn't play the same way that they do for like 7 games in a month without a bit of rotation in their side. So maybe that's a bit of a reality check for them. Otherwise, Chelsea were very, very good. Cole Palmer rose to the occasion. They had a game plan. They executed it to perfection. Yeah, it's fair for Chelsea. I'm still not entirely convinced by them. And, you know, on a one-off game, anyone can beat anyone, that kind of thing. PSG even lost earlier on in the tournament. Was it to some South African team? I can't remember who it was, but PSG lost it earlier on in the tournament. So, one-off game, anyone can beat anyone, but Chelsea were very good and they were very well worthy of their victory. There's no doubt about it. Enrique attacking Chelsea players post-game was so uncharacteristic of him. Yeah, they all lost it, didn't they? Can't tell me they didn't care about losing that game when they reacted like that. Lucho Magic, you can always be a faceless YouTube channel if you're nervous about showing your face and slowly edge into showing. That's what I did. That's what I did as well. I didn't really address this point in your in your comment, my friend. So I hope you're still watching and that. But yeah, Callum's right. Like you can start off like I don't know with like pictures or like a logo or something or anything like that, and then when you feel ready and confident to show your face, just go for it. Like you don't have to constantly show your face. I didn't. Like I say, for the first several months that I was doing this, I think the first few videos that I did was either pictures of what I was talking about, or it was, I think, video gameplay. I don't remember what video game it was now off the top of my head, but I think there were a few video games that I played, and I just put that on and spoke over it. But like I say, man, go for it. 100% go for it. If you feel like you've got something to talk about and something to get out there, then 100%, man. Like I say, go for it. And as long as you're enjoying it, like I say, you're already winning. So good luck with that, my friend. Did you see Rio on inside AXA training clips putting Grab and Virgil van Dijk in a split? This is what I'm saying, man. He's insane. He is insane. There was also rumors that apparently there is footage of this 16-year-old Rio Ngamoa turning a certain former Liverpool player inside out that Liverpool did not want to release. Any guesses on who that former Liverpool player was? Oh dear. Any guesses on who that Liverpool player was? No prizes for guessing. No prizes for guessing who it was, but apparently there is lost footage of that happening. PSG lost to Botafogo. Botafogo. I couldn't remember who it was. I kind of blanked out the first half of this tournament, to be fair. Not Jamie Carragher. Trent. He now wears number 12. You could be right, yeah. Yeah, you could be right. Apparently, Liverpool didn't want to release the footage. Apparently, and he wears the first name on his shirt. Yeah. Yeah, he does. Because Trent is apparently a more marketable or more of a brand or whatever ridiculous thing that he's got now. Oh well. Ancient history. How have Chelsea managed to pull that off, by the way? Bournemouth have signed that Djordje, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, Petrovic from Chelsea for 25 million. You know, the goalkeeper that they signed last year. 25 million. Why is everybody buying Chelsea's bargain bin? Well, it's not really a bargain bin, but just how are Chelsea getting these fees in for these players? It's bizarre. 25 million for a goalkeeper has just been there. Mad. Rio would be perfect to keep for the future, honestly, seeing a legend in the making. I want to see more of him. I really, really do. I like him. He's got... I'm not comparing the two when I say this directly, but he has that sort of no fear characteristic that I see with Lamine Yamal. That no fear characteristic of, I'm going to go out there and just play my natural game. That's the characteristic that I love from these types of players. And I feel like if we can just give him the free rein to do whatever he wants, I want to see more of him in the starting 11 next season. Coming on with like 10 minutes to go when we're like 3-0 up against like a Sunderland or a Leeds or whatever, and just go and play a natural game. And then him going out there and just doing that, gaining experience, building him up. Because it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're good enough, it will show on the pitch. Look at Waneri this season. Look at Miles Lewis-Skelly this season. Both for Arsenal. Both 17, 18 years of age. Both just taking to the Premier League like a duck to water. I want to see him have that kind of free reign. I really, really do. We have an all-time squad for this season, and there's more to come. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely building. There's only one area, like I say, in which I think needs some very, very some very quick reinforcing, and that's the striker position. But it is definitely building that way. And I am very, very excited as to what the future will hold. Rio has the ability to keep the football glued to his foot while running and turning. His technical ability is ridiculous. Like that, what he did the other day was magic. And I know that people go, well, it's Preston and it's a pre-season friendly. And yes, it is. But he's also a 16, 17-year-old kid. He's ridiculous, bro. I want to see more of him. Rio has every chance to become a legend. Hope he does, no matter what. I can see why Chelsea fans were annoyed and unhappy that they lost him. I can see what all the hype was about. And I'm fingers crossed and hoping that he continues. Oh yeah, I'm not even going to try and compare the two. It's night and day. I get that because we haven't seen Ngamoa play. Ornstein Bomber, guys. Ornstein has dropped a big update. Liverpool contact Eintracht Frankfurt over possible move for Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool working on 23-year-old the Frankfurt forward, having also approached Newcastle for Alexander Isak. Newcastle want to keep 25-year-old, and Ekitike interest is ongoing. That is from the one and only David Ornstein dropping the bomber that Liverpool have now made contact with Eintracht Frankfurt. So, the Newcastle fans that were in the chat earlier, where you at? Where you at right now? I told you we can move fast on this. I told you it would just take us to just go, you know what? We're going to get sidetracked a little bit, and we're just going to turn our attention to this guy. Where are you at? People are having an issue with Yamar inviting dwarves at Sweet 18. I don't see the problem, do you? As long as it's legal, he can do whatever he likes. As long as it's legal, he can do whatever he likes. He is an 18-year-old top quality footballer who could potentially be on the cusp of winning the Ballon d'Or this year. He's probably going to go on to have an incredible career in terms of silverware and success, both as a club, as a nation, and individually. As long as he's doing things that are legal, he's fine to do whatever he likes. Did you see Yamal's birthday celebrations? Money's already getting to him. I think he needs to be brought down to earth. I think those things only become a problem if he doesn't perform on the pitch. If he doesn't perform on the pitch, then those things become an issue. If he doesn't, if he starts to obviously decline, then we start having a conversation about his personal life. But we shall see. You only turn 18 once. That is very true. Very, very true. Didn't he pay OnlyFans models to come to his yacht party? I think he probably did. He probably did. Like I say, as long as it's legal and it's all above board, he's fine to do whatever he wants. Come on, Ekitike or Isak. Told you. I told you it's one or the other. Newcastle fans telling me that they're getting both. I told you it's unlikely. And it's just got even more unlikely. Romano's just tweeted as well in a follow-up to David Ornstein. He says that Hugo Ekitike remains the other option on Liverpool list if Isak deal can't be agreed with Newcastle as reported. The story for Ekitike remains 100% open. So, I'm just going to change this banner right here. Big breaking news whilst we've been live. Liverpool approach Frankfurt for Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike obviously attracting interest from both Liverpool and Newcastle. We know that Newcastle in recent days have seemingly been in pole position to take the 23-year-old from the German outfit, but now it seems that Liverpool are keeping their options open, of course, with obviously the news that Newcastle don't want to sell Isak, but Liverpool could turn their attention to Ekitike. It seems to be a 50-50. It seems as though, one way or another, Isak or Ekitike are going to be playing for Liverpool or Newcastle. It's going to be one or the other for both of these men. I mean, I'll just say right at the bat, out of the two, obviously I would prefer Isak. He's ready for the here and now. He's a bit more well-polished. But as I've said before with Ekitike, there are similar traits, similar attributes, similar characteristics, similar styles in the way that both he and Isak play that reminds me of Alexander Isak. There are certain things that Ekitike does that reminds me of an Alexander Isak. He's just a bit of a younger version, a bit more rough around the edges type version. I'm not completely against Ekitike, but we definitely need to move on a striker, and it's going to have to be one of these two. And, you know, I don't think it's necessarily a bad backup option if Ekitike does come to Liverpool. If, of course, we don't get our seemingly number one target of Alexander Isak. Newcastle fans, you claimed you were going to get both. You may keep Isak, but you definitely do need to go and get a second striker. So what do you do now? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the chat about Ekitike, Isak, and of course where both Liverpool and Newcastle turn their attention to from this point forward. I turned 18 two months ago and I was doing similar stuff. So if I'm being honest, I don't blame. Fair play to you, my friend. Fair play to you, my friend. Yeah, big update there from David Ornstein from The Athletic and from Fabrizio Romano. Everybody jumping on this. It's a very interesting saga, isn't it? And it does show you the domino effect that, of course, can come into play with stories like this. And I'm just thinking, Frankfurt, if you're saying 85 million euros for an Ekitike, and if you're obviously going to have a hole to fill with the absence of Ekitike, we have a striker that maybe could be 85 million euros. If we give them Darwin Núñez, they give us Ekitike, that still saves up money that we could go and get Alexander Isak with. Could you imagine? Never going to happen, but that would be amusing if it was. Anything to put away this Benjamin Sesko fiasco that's going on. Really do wish. Flex, do you think FSG addressed the centre-back conundrum this window? They have to. They've got no choice. They definitely have to. Gahey does seem to be the one, but I think we're just waiting on Palace to bring in a replacement. I know things have gone a bit quiet, but I'm going to assume that it's a bit like the Kirkes situation. As soon as Bournemouth got their replacement for Kirkes, that's when Liverpool and Bournemouth decided to pull the trigger on the deal and make the deal happen. I think it's going to happen very similarly with that situation as well. So I'm pretty confident Gahey will be a Liverpool player this summer. I haven't heard much about Gahey lately or any other incoming centre-back to replace Kwanzaa. Like I say, I personally do believe that if Palace get their replacement in very soon, the Gahey stuff will reignite. I really do believe that. Or do you think Slot is content with Amara Nallo and Luca Stevenson? Don't think for right now. And given the unreliable nature of Joe Gomez and Ibrahima Konate, both for reasons of both injuries and for potentially wanting to move away from Liverpool, it would be foolish of him to put his faith in those kinds of players. So it definitely needs to be addressed this summer. I want Isak. I think taking a risk on Ekitike, we shouldn't be paying massive money for him, no more than what we paid for Nunez. It's a massive risk. I agree with you there. It's a big gamble for anybody, not just Liverpool, but anybody that wants to try and take him away from Eintracht Frankfurt. Only problem is that I don't necessarily know who we turn to after this. Let's say that Ekitike, for whatever reason, didn't want to come to Liverpool, turned us down for whatever reason, decided to go elsewhere. I don't really know who we'd go after this. Everyone that we like is a bit more in a difficult position than what Ekitike is in right now. So we shall see. Palace was banned from Europa League. Shame. Yeah, it's a crazy story. I was not expecting them to get banned from the Europa League at all, in all honesty. I was expecting them to find some sort of loophole to secure their place in that competition for next season. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, in all honesty. But I don't know the full story behind it. I don't know what the technicalities were as to why they got relegated down to the Europa Conference League. But that's just the way that obviously it's happened. It's occurred. It's unfortunate for Palace, especially because they won a trophy to get into that competition this year. I mean, I guess the trophy somewhat softens the blow a little bit, but it's still a massive blow nonetheless. And not only that as well, but that was going to be something that may have kept some of their big name players. And now that they're in the Europa Conference League, although it is still a European competition, might not be enough to keep some of those big name players. So it's so unfortunate for Palace. It really, really is. We shall see. We shall see how that goes. Gonna go now, mate. You got a new sub, class YouTube. Thank you, mate. I really do appreciate. I really do appreciate you being here with us. I really do appreciate the sub, and I really do appreciate you getting involved in the chat as well. Like, really do appreciate it, my guy, and I hope to see you again very, very, very soon. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot. I hope you have a good rest of your day, by the way. I'm going to say that. Crystal Palace majority shareholder John Textor also owns Lyon, which qualified for the Europa League. UEFA rules prohibit clubs with the same ownership group for competing in the same competition. I got that bit. The only thing that I'm kind of having difficulty working out is how different was it? Because Man City and Girona were allowed to compete in the Champions League last season. RB Leipzig and RB Salzburg are in the same competitions constantly. I just want to know what the major differences were. I have to look into it a bit more. But a certain club with 115 ongoing charges, nothing is happening to them. Everyone seems to have forgot. Well, everybody that seems to have been in charge of making a decision seems to have forgotten about that. And I don't understand why. We were meant to hear something in March. We haven't. So I don't know what the situation is going on over there. And no one's saying anything. Everyone is seemingly a bit hush-hush and a bit quiet on that situation. So I've got no idea what's going on there. Textor missed the March 1st deadline to sort out the ownership structure and put his shares in Palace into a blind trust, which would have allowed both clubs to participate in the Europa League. Conflict of interest. UEFA determines that Textor's ownership structure breached Article 410 of UEFA's. Interesting. Like I said, I want to know how different it was, and I want to know what classifies as being different. Because obviously, like I say, there are teams in there that are under the same ownership model. The Red Bull teams, City, Girona. I want to know how different it has to be before they're allowed to compete against each other. Because, I don't know, it just seems a little dodgy to me. And especially it seems even more dodgy that a certain Nottingham Forest were the ones to bring this up, as it were. And they're the ones who benefit from it. And they were going to do the same thing. Because if you remember, Forest ownership did, how you said earlier about that whole shifting of shares and changing the board and all of that stuff. They were going to do the same thing because obviously their owner owns Olympiacos. And that he was afraid that them were going to meet in the Champions League and they wouldn't obviously do the same. So Forest were going to do the same thing. And then as soon as he got knocked out of the Champions League, I assume he was just going to get his shares back. So it's all dodgy and it's all weird. And this multi-club system just says to me that there's a lot of like unnecessary moving around of things. It's crazy. Nottingham Forest is set to replace Crystal Palace in the Europa League, having finished 7th in the Premier League last season. I mean, the only thing that's at least good for Crystal Palace is that they get into the Europa Conference League. So at least they're not kicked out of Europe entirely. Having said that, though, I do feel like it's very harsh on them. I do feel like it is very, very harsh on a Crystal Palace side who obviously won a trophy to get there, and a Forest side who are only getting through to the Europa League on a technicality. Just seems weird to me. Surely what they could have done was just keep Forest in the Europa Conference League. We could have had two teams compete in the Conference League rather than the Europa League this year. Surely that would have been the right call. I don't understand why Forest benefit from Palace messing up. Just seems wrong to me. Is what it is. But we'll welcome Nimrod. I hope you are well, my friend. But will Liverpool take that man? Let us pray for them. We shall see, man. It's a very exciting transfer saga that is really heating up right now. It's a slap in the face to the Crystal Palace fans after a great final at Wembley. It is. I mean, I'm sure they'll still enjoy the European tour that they're about to venture out on. It's not as exciting as what it would be as if they were in the Europa League rather than the Conference League. But I'm sure they're still going to enjoy it. They've still got a good chance of winning it. And let's face it as well, their manager, Oliver Glasner, has got history of winning European competitions. He did win the Europa League with Frankfurt, of course. So he has history of winning that European competitions. Palace have got a very good chance of winning the Conference League, in my opinion. They've got a good squad, solid squad. Even if it is going to be ripped apart this summer, they've still got a decent enough squad, a good manager behind them. And of course, like I say, if both Man United and Tottenham can get to the final of the Europa League this year, the Conference League should be pretty much Palace is there for the taking. So I feel like they've got a good chance this year, Crystal Palace, of doing something in that competition. Whether it will hinder their league performances or not, because that's what tends to happen to certain teams that get into Europe for the first time, remains to be seen. It's likely that will take a bit of a hit. But you know what? If there is a European trophy at the end of the season, in what is a season in which maybe their league form takes a bit of a dive, I don't think Palace fans will mind too much about that. You saw how much it meant to them to win the FA Cup. If they add a European Cup to that list, in the modern era, the chances are they'll have more European success than Arsenal. Fair play to Palace. Fair play to Palace. But it is very unfortunate what's happened there. But yeah, it's somewhat bittersweet. It's somewhat bittersweet. Oh, yeah, good call. Scummy move from Nottingham Forest board there. Yeah, I have a soft spot for Nottingham Forest, obviously being born and bred and being raised in Nottingham. I've got a lot of friends and family that are Nottingham Forest fans. So I'll always have a soft spot and a respect for Nottingham Forest. However, in recent months, they have been some of the biggest crybaby little, that you can imagine. Like, seemingly ratting out Palace in this situation, crying about the whole Morgan Gibbs-White thing. Like, I don't even know what the hell that was all about. And knowing Spurs anyway, they probably just threw in a £60 million bid and went, oh my God, we got lucky. That's a release clause. They probably didn't even know. And if they did know, who cares? You're the ones who put it in the contract. What? It's bizarre. That situation's bizarre. Forest are bizarre right now. Their owner is... Their owner is... He needs help. He needs help. Just checking to see if anything else has dropped in the meantime. No, I think we're all good. I think that's everything caught up with. So yeah, Ekitike, Isak, that seems to be the saga that is happening right now. That seems to be the saga that is going to be taking center stage, it seems, until we can get this resolved and sorted, done, dusted, and made official. Who do I rate more, Ekitike or Mbeumo? Mbeumo is more proven. Mbeumo is more proven, especially on a bigger stage like the Premier League. So we shall see. Who would you guys want more, by the way? Ekitike or no, that's actually a dumb question. Everyone would probably go Isak. Probably a very dumb question I was about to ask them. Sorry, but I stopped myself. All right, I'll put it this way. Who do you think? What do you think will happen in this situation? Do you think Isak will go to Liverpool? Do you think he'll stay at Newcastle? Or do you think Ekitike will go to Newcastle and Isak to Liverpool? Or will Ekitike go to Liverpool? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Where do you think Isak will go? Where do you think Ekitike will go? We'll close this out on that kind of question. Big up to Ajiri. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, my friend. I do apologize if I'm not. I hope you're well, my friend. It says that Isak is staying at Newcastle and Ekitike should sign for £100 million deal for Hugo Ekitike to Newcastle right now. He wants both at Newcastle. Is there a world in which that exists? Is there a world in which Newcastle do get both Ekitike and Isak? Or do you think they get one or the other? Do you think that they keep Isak and also obtain the services of Hugo Ekitike? Or is it basically they keep Isak and lose out on Ekitike? Or do they get Ekitike and have to let Isak go? I want to know. I'm intrigued by this. Very much intrigued by what is going on right now. Prediction: Newcastle side Hugo Ekitike as a replacement for Isak, and Isak is unveiled as a new Liverpool player. That's the dream. That is the dream. That is the hope. That is the dream. That would be amazing if it was. That would be absolutely amazing if that was to actually come true and come to fruition, my friend. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad move for Newcastle either. I think basically you're getting a younger version of Isak if you do go for Ekitike. A bit more rough around the edges version of Isak, but it's someone that can develop over the next 2 or 3 years into what Isak is today, potentially. He's got great technical ability, got good footwork, he's quick, powerful. There's a lot to admire about him, definitely. It says, hi, Isak stay at Newcastle and Hugo Ekitike will go to Newcastle as well. Fair enough. If you think that both will go. I don't personally see it happening myself, but stranger things have happened. I do feel like it is going to be one or the other for both Newcastle and Liverpool in this situation. And Liverpool's power play is being played right now. The power play of you can either lose, we can either take your main man in Isak, or we will take your main target in Ekitike. We shall see. Right, gang. Good time to call it as ever. Almost 2 hours of talking about this situation, and I'm getting a little hungry, in all honesty. So we are going to call it there. Appreciate each and every single one of you for coming out in this, for coming into this live stream on this Thursday afternoon. Really do appreciate you, all of you, in this situation. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new, or obviously subscribe. I've completely lost where I'm at. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new, and obviously get involved in the chat and the comment section. Now it will be, if you're watching on repeat, whether it's about the situation that we've been talking about for the past couple of hours, or whether it be about anything that you guys want to talk about for future live streams to come. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you that's already done all of those things and, of course, got involved in today's video. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you for the support. It will always be appreciated, never taken for granted. You guys are absolutely awesome. As Marco here says that, hope to see Barca, Liverpool at some point in the Champions League next season. Only if you can be 3-0 down again and we come back to win 4-0 in the second leg. Take care, my bro. Take care, my bro. Appreciate it, man. You guys, like I say, you guys are absolutely awesome. I cannot thank you enough. Like I say, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video / live stream. I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Peace.